Well, hello there, Centurions. We're coming at you with another Attila Total War battle, and this one is one of my favorite battles that I've ever had. I'm facing Lucius Verus of the Roman Empire, and this guy is an amazing general. Not only that, we are outnumbered significantly by cavalry and by the enemy units, and right now we have to stop them with a desert army that's already seen 2 battles, and we have to hope that we do a good job. So let's go ahead and get to the action and hope for the best.
Their empire across the world. This must not happen. Would you bend the knee to Rome? Would you have them decide our fate? No. No, we must fight, and we must drive these Romans back.
So there, as you can see, guys, a lot of morale boost there in my men. And right now, I've just left the men here kind of on the slope of a hill. I don't want them getting anywhere close to the Roman Empire troops. But if we take a look at what we're up against here, it is some pretty serious stuff. We've got legions, we've got cavalry, we've got a bunch of skirmisher units right here. And the legions really are pretty scary. The Comitanensis spears are even scarier, but definitely something that is a formidable force. And for sure, what Rome is trying to do here is crush our resistance. We're actually in the north of, I guess you could call it the Israeli peninsula, or the Israeli, not the peninsula, the Israeli area, I guess you could call it, also Syria, Lebanon, etc. We're sort of in that northern region. So we want to see here if our army manages to hold out against the glorious Romans. We don't have much here. I mean, our guys are at the very least trained. They've seen battle before, and that's awesome. But as you can see, their actual equipment is not even close to being good enough to defeat Roman legions. But let's see what happens. So at this point, I take my cavalry. I realize they're not going to be any use in front there. I'm pulling them back just to make sure that if the enemy hits us, we have someone to flank the enemy. And most of these guys are desert raiders. They're light melee cavalry. They don't do a lot of damage really on a charge, but definitely more than, for instance, a missile cavalry or something like this. Now, actually, the best unit is my general unit. As you can look at them, they almost look like Persian immortals. But this is, of course, the Himyar faction, and this is a Jewish faction. Very, very interesting faction. They used to believe in pagan religions, so they're new to Judaism, and I guess you could say they have their own sort of view of it. So here we go. I believe we are firing the first volley at the Romans. Falls pretty much short of them, but I'm hoping that that fire will burn a few of them as they move through, and already some of them are on fire and not looking like they are in the best situation at all. At this point, I realize that if we want to get a win here, if there's any way we want to get a victory, we've got to hit the enemy coming downhill so that we get that downhill momentum. First thing I do is send out the cavalry. I also send out some spear units to catch the enemy here off guard. They've got contrari, which are shock troops, and these guys are incredible in battle. They actually sort of remind me of the units in the Pegasus units in Warhammer Total War in how effective they are. So here we go. The battle is beginning, of course. Of course, they're going to try to get behind us, but our men are pretty much on this. They're getting hit left and right here. You guys, I definitely want you to see that. We're even going to slow down here because this is where I bring in some spearmen to try and even the odds. Of course, the spearmen are completely a counter to any Roman units, and we should be able to knock them down. They're wearing that royal purple, of course, and we want to make sure to kill all of them. There's one down. Let's take a look over here. Now, of course, the charge has begun. We had to do it eventually, and I knew I had to get it on the downhill charge. Scary situation. We've got an enemy cavalry unit getting behind our charge. So we definitely want to make contact with them, and that's when I've decided that even our general here has to go in and fight the enemy. These are, of course, the Zafar Sentinels, our elite units. Look at this, guys. Legions are coming in at great for strength, and this is pretty scary stuff. I don't know if we have the ability to stand up against such a formidable foe here. But what I've done is I took my spearman units here to flank the enemy. I did this on purpose, knowing that if we at least got a flank attack on the enemy, maybe, just maybe, we could dislodge them a little bit. Right there already, their Comitanensis spears are getting a little bit scared. And it might be because they spot these units behind them, but what they don't realize is we're about to charge right into their rear.
General, protect him!
Kill them all! Here we go, guys. This is where the true slaughter begins. We've also got a fire raging in the middle, and it's right in the middle of the Legion and the Comatinensis spears. So this is so far looking good, but look at this, guys. Look at the enemy flank over here. All we have left to beat them is this spearman unit, so we sent them in for the fight, and they do get that slight downhill charge. Now, while that's going on over here on the right side, we are definitely crushing this enemy, and you can see that the Legio is being cut down as we speak in the desert. In fact, I just saw one of them get decapitated. Really, really nice hit there. And now, of course, we're going to go ahead and try to roll up on their left flank, our right flank, and see if we can do anything. At this point, I've set my cavalry in. I'm trying to commit everything to this attack. You can just see the ferocity here, guys, of the combat. There's blood everywhere, spears going through enemy units' throats, and for sure our men are desperate to kill the enemy here. We've already got some of the Comatinensis spears running away, of course. Remember, not all of these are purely Roman units. This is at the time when the Roman Empire extended into many other countries, and that's why a lot of them look almost like Gauls. So we might not have the highest morale when you think about it. Now here, we are facing Lucius Verus himself, very well-known Roman senator, but we are going to try to slaughter him. We've also got some decent combat units here. If you take a look here, it's not the Desert Heavy Spears. Oh, sorry, it is the Desert Heavy Spears, apologies. And at this point, finally, we've stopped their cavalry with our spearmen. There's nothing they can do. Their cavalrymen, their contrari, their shock cavalry is useless. They also didn't try to move their cavalry back or anything like that. And at this point, my friends, it's time to charge fully into the enemy. At this point, I knew that we are doing extremely well. You can see still a ton of Romans there being cut up. And we also have some mercenary legionary defectors. And these guys are the ones that go in here to Lucius Verus, their old commander, to get some revenge for the poor treatment they received. And that's why they've joined us. And once again, some of their cavalry is moving back, but you can just see already the battlefield is an utter bloodbath. And we're going to go ahead and try to charge in, finish off the Legion here. A lot of skirmisher units, but they really don't have much fight left in them, guys. At this point, I decided to go ahead, do a massive charge on the enemy because we are in northern Roman territory, and the issue here is that they could get reinforcements very, very quickly. But you could just see there, guys, this is a vicious, vicious fight. I don't think I've ever seen something this nasty, but we absolutely slaughtered the Romans, catching them there with our flank. Otherwise, their army would have crushed us. If we faced them head-on, we would have been annihilated. It wouldn't even have been a close battle. But what we did there was we took those not-so-powerful Desert Spear units, and they do have ranks, they do have experience, and we got them behind the enemy. At that point, the enemy panicked. You can't really fight in a legion, or even in a phalanx, of course, definitely not in a phalanx, against being totally surrounded. It's a little easier in a legion, but really it's still not very easy. And there we go, guys. That is an amazing fight. I can't wait to see the crows pick the blood and flesh off these dead bodies. But I don't know how long that's going to take. This could just rot here for days and become the stinkiest part of the Arabian area, of course. So we're, of course, attacking here, and I've still got cavalry just killing more and more of the enemy. I was so pissed after this fight because I was sure we were going to lose, and when we got the victory, the bloodlust just sank right in. And there we go, guys. They are nowhere to be found. Pretty soon here I am ending the battle, but I just had to get a few more kills on the enemy to make sure that they knew that we are not kidding around here. We are a serious contender. And shortly after I fought this battle, we became very high in terms of Imperium. I think our Imperium is noteworthy or legendary. It's one of the two. And doing very, very well in the game. It's one away from the last one, let's put it that way, after this battle. So this battle changed a tremendous amount in the campaign, just destroying and crushing an entire Roman legion. We have about 3 or 4 more armies coming up this way, so at this point, of course, the enemy realizes they're going to have to come up with new tactics to beat the Himyar. Go, go, guys. So it was a close victory. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and end the replay, and there we go. Those were the final stats of the battle. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe down below if you haven't already, put some comments, and tell me what you'd like to see next. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care, and have an awesome, awesome day.